Hey, excuse me, my friend. You work for the cleaners, right?
Yeah.
Little bro, what's up with you?
How you doing, man? Just chilling.
I'm all right. Got my man B McKee in the building with me today. So I basically want to get into it. So to give the people some background, matter of fact, I'm gonna let you go. Explain who you are, what you do, where you from.
So, like I said, my name is B. McKee. I'm from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. It's a county like right outside of Philadelphia, about 15 to 40 minutes, depending on which town you're in. I'm 21 years old, versatile rapper, do a little bit of everything, just trying to make my way.
And what's your social media?
I'm Life with B. McKee on everything.
And then spell McKee for the people, man.
MCKIE.
So basically, for the last, what would you say, 15? I mean, not 15 years, since 2015. So the last 5 years, you've been rapping and I've been playing the role of your manager. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, so let's get into the start of your career. You started in 2015. Um, how'd you start? How'd you get into the game?
So I started basically by doing a feature for one of my friends, who was a rapper in my school. We had the studio equipment in the house, so I used to let him record, and they just asked me to get on a song one day. That song wound up doing pretty well, and that's how I got my start.
And by pretty well, what do you mean? Let's give the people some numbers out there.
So we just did an Instagram post, put it out on SoundCloud. I went to bed, woke up the next day, and had over 1,000 views in like the first 12 hours. So I was shocked by that. So
So no promo, no nothing, not even your song. You guys record it, put it out, wake up the next day, over 1,000 listens.
yeah, so I was really shocked by that. So I knew there was anticipation to keep going.
Okay, so you wake up, the song has 1,000 views. Where do you go from there?
So basically, I give it about a week to see where the momentum's going, and I'm getting really positive feedback. Like it's to the point where I'm just going to places just in the neighborhood to play some basketball to hang out, and that's all people are talking about. So I saw there was excitement. So me being more marketing and business minded, I decided to rent out a venue after only having one feature and try to put a show together to make some money.
So for the people who are listening, because obviously I know the story, I'm your manager, but you decided to rent a venue and put together an event for a song that's not even yours. You were just a feature on it. That's a little. I wouldn't say it's weird, but it's different. What made you decide to do that?
I mean, sometimes you got to press the issue because sometimes you'll feature on a song that does well, and the person whose song it is isn't really as hungry as you, and you doesn't really want to seek the opportunity. So it doesn't matter whether you're the feature, you got one background vocal on a song. If you know that this song can push you to where it needs to push you, and the main artist isn't doing that, sometimes you just got to take control of the ship the way you can.
Okay, so you're a feature on the song. You're pushing the song. You rent out a venue. Now, how do you go about promoting the show? Because technically you don't even have one song out. You're a feature on it. So I obviously you can't headline the show. What are you doing to promote it?
So basically, what I did from just my connections and networking is I went to the different areas in Montgomery County and found one rapper from each area. Said, "Hey man, you want to get on the bill? I'll give you some tickets that you can sell. Keep your ticket revenue. So just so we can get people in the building so they can hear our sound." And that worked out pretty well for us. We were able to get three other artists. I mean, we originally had six, but we were able to get three other artists, to perform on the bill and help bring people in.
So, okay, for example, you tell me to be on the bill,
Mhm.
you give me some tickets. Every ticket I sell, I keep the profit for it.
So let's say the tickets, were $20, so we didn't even have to do a hypothetical. So what I would do is like, listen, man, since I put up the money for the venue, for every ticket that you get $10 fair game. You didn't put any money down, but you get free $10 for every ticket you sell, and 10 goes back to the house to cover that venue cost and stuff like that. So it's easy money. They didn't have to put nothing down.
Okay, and then how much did the venue cost for you to book it, and how long did you book it for?
I booked it for 3 hours, and I would say it cost me about a total of $500. It's not as expensive as people think.
So 500. Okay. So and you were selling the tickets for about 20 a piece?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not 500 for 3 hours?
Yeah. I mean,
That's not bad at all.
suitable venue if you're a bigger artist, but if you're a starting out artist, I would definitely do that.
And about how many people did it fit?
I would say it fit about 100 people.
About 100 people. So, damn. So, if it's 100 people and if you sell 25 tickets, you make your money back.
Right.
So, about how many tickets do you think were sold for your first show?
I would say a total of probably about 50 to 55. Well, tickets sold and people showed up are two different things. I would say we sold about 75 tickets, but I would say about 55, 50 showed up.
So, you made your money back and then some.
Yes, we were able to make a profit, which was the most important part, that we could at least sell something. Who shows up, that's the intricate stuff that you can get into later.
So, and then was anybody helping you with this? Because at this time, I wasn't your manager. You really didn't have a music career yet. You were just jumping in the game. So, did you do all this on your own? Did you have any help with this?
As far as the thought process, that was me. But of course, I was only 15 at the time, so I would have to use my mom, to get the rental and sign off on that and just take liability and things for that, which is like you're always going to need somebody for that. But if you're over 21, these are things you can do on your own.
Mm.
You just got to be willing to.
That's crazy because I know some artists that's been in the game for like years and they don't even do stuff like this,
A lot
and
of
they're
people,
totally capable of it.
a lot of artists, there's that thing, that too cool for school thing. They're just waiting for another man to book them, which I think is corny. We can go out in your own community and make a lot of money. A lot of people I noticed during the show didn't want to promote themselves. They kind of want to get signed to a label, have other people promote for them. You just have everybody else do the work so it can look cool.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I said, take me through the day of the show, like leading up to it. Were you nervous? What was it like?
I don't know why, because I've played sports, and for some reason, I played sports since I was 3. For some reason, the day of the show, I was less nervous than I've ever been playing any kind of sport or being in front of a crowd. It just felt natural. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you find your passion in life. It just felt real natural. But basically, it's hectic, man. You spending your whole day calling artists, trying to find out where certain artists are. You have artists that don't show up. The person whose song it was that we performed, our one song, didn't even show up. Just the 2 features were there. People.
Wait, so hold on,
Yeah.
because I feel like this part is important.
Uh-huh.
So you are a feature on this song. First song you ever recorded, you're a feature on it.
Yes, I'm one of 2 features.
The main artist who saw, and then okay, so you're a feature on the song. You put together the venue
Uh-huh.
and the event for somebody else's song just because you're on it. You wanted to promote it.
Yes.
And then the artist whose song it actually is ended up not showing up to the event.
Yeah, I believe the reason they didn't show up is because they felt like if the numbers or the turnout wasn't as big, they would look bad because, it has their name on it. They were trying to be a little too cool.
Okay, so the person whose song it is doesn't show up. How do you even go on with at least your part of the event? Because you're only a feature. So what, did you perform the whole song yourself?
To be honest, it was a little bit easier because I was, even though it was not my song, I was the first verse and I was the chorus. So it's not awkward like you just play the song and the whole first part, nobody's there. He
Mm.
was the middle verse and then the third verse was also there. So we were kind of able to ad lib that middle verse. That's why I think as an artist, you got to make sure your part in the song is bigger than that because we were able to get around that pretty easily.
So wait, he was the third verse on his own song and he didn't even do the chorus?
He was the middle verse.
That's a horrible marketing decision. I would never allow you
You're like
to
the
be the.
greatest rapper of all time. You got to be the last verse. You can't let nobody else do your chorus.
That's tough. Yeah, he put himself in a tricky spot with that. Okay, so you get the event done. The person whose song it is doesn't show up. Where do you go from there? How do you move on with your career?
So basically, after that, I spent about a week trying to reach out to the 2 other people who were on the song. It seems like they weren't really getting back to me. There was a 2 year, no, about a 3 year age gap between us. So, the chemistry probably, I guess, wasn't there. So I decided that, with you in my ear and some other people in my ear, that I need to move on and do my own thing by myself.
And what was your first move? Okay, you got to do it on your own. What was your first move after that?
Actually, now thinking about it, because I jumped to my first, solo song, I just thought about it the wrong way. But actually, I wound up remixing the song with the 2 features on it, and then putting the other verse on there myself and cleaning it up with better mixing and editing. And that song actually did better than the first verse.
So you did you made a remix
Mm-hmm.
to the song you were featured on.
To be honest with you, I feel like if the artist isn't really trying to push it, they don't want it, and then it's up for takes. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't get any complaints about that.
Okay, so when you remixed it, now the remix is your song.
Yes, it just had my name under B McKee. I made sure I put remix. You know,
And what was different about it than the original song?
the mix was better. The beat was slightly changed, and I did all the I did first, second verse, and chorus. The only thing that was the same was my first verse from the original song, even though I re-recorded it with better mixing, and then I changed the second verse, and then the chorus was the same.
And did you keep the other artists on that song, or you took them off completely?
I took them off completely and just filled in their parts with me.
So basically, you took his verse off, changed the beat up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then made it all your song.
Yes.
All right, what was the reaction to this song compared to the first one?
To be honest with you, I had the same reaction you had. Like, I'm going to remix somebody else's song, keep the first verse in the same chord. I didn't think it was going to do too well, but honestly, people were treating it like it was a brand new song, giving it the same exact excitement that the last one had. And I remember, I even put it in one of my further lyrics that like it did over 2,000 in the weekend, and I was just kind of excited about that in the SoundCloud days where you're really counting the numbers.
Okay, so the artist who made and let's use names because it's going to make it easier. So the song was called "Make It Clap."
Yes.
The original song is "Make It Clap."
Mm-hmm.
You do the concert, the guy doesn't show up.
Yes.
You're getting buzz from the song as a feature, so you decide to do "Make It Clap" remix. Take his verse off it completely because you were already the first verse and the chorus. So you just put a second verse where his verse was and made it your own song, "Make It Clap" remix.
Basically, as crazy as it sounds, that's what happened.
When you say it out loud, it sounds wild.
You know,
What you say?
I said it sounds insane, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So "Make It Clap" remix comes out. The numbers do even better than the original.
Yeah.
Now, does the artist from the original "Make It Clap" feel a type of way when you come out with the remix?
So the main artist whose song it was, I didn't speak to them again for months. Like I had no contact. It just seemed like we completely stopped talking. The feature, you know, we were still talking and texting back and forth, but he was more happy, like, yo, man, you know, that's hot, you know, keep doing your thing. But, you know, he didn't understand. Like none of us really understood why the main artist wasn't, you know, on board.
So he doesn't show up for the show, and then you never hear from him really again.
Yeah, until about like 6 months later. And by then it's like we was doing our own complete different thing.
Okay. So "Make It Clap" remix comes out. You're doing about 2-3,000 on that song on SoundCloud, which for your first solo song is decent. I know people who put out their first records and they get about like 100 views, so about 2-3,000. That's decent. So where do you go from there? How do you follow up the buzz?
So what our plan was, because we always had to have a plan. I think all rappers need to have a plan instead of just going to the studio and make songs. You have to focus on what your quality is going to be that makes you, you know, stand out from other artists. So our thing was going to be consistency and sound. So we hired an engineer who goes by the name of Jay Strong, very good engineer from Philly, work with a lot of artists. And we said we're going to put out a song after we saw the success. We said we're going to put out a song every week until the anticipation is big enough to do like maybe a project. So
Okay.
that week we were working on the song, and the next song I put out was called "Let's Do It," and the song was very clean, and that's the first time I really, you know, changed up my flow and really sound polished. Like it's not like, you know, somebody who just knows, you know, the cadence of rapping, but we actually turned it into a real song.
Got it. And what was the reaction to "Let's Do It"?
"Let's Do It" to date was probably my biggest, you know, reaction because people were utterly shocked. They thought this was just for fun because remember, I've only done one song. This is the first new song that we put out,
Mhm.
and "Let's Do It" honestly did 10,000 in a week.
Shit.
Yeah.
Second song did 10,000 on SoundCloud in a week.
Yes.
Okay. So, and what grade are you in at the time?
I am just entering. Keep in mind, this is in August, so I just came back in school. I'm just entering 11th grade. I was 16.
Okay. Okay, so you're a junior.
Yes.
So coming into your junior year, your second song's out. You're doing 10,000 on SoundCloud. What was that like being in high school with like a locally with a local hit?
See, it's very weird because I feel like a lot of people like either start later or leave school to be a rapper. So it was very weird that I was fully ingrained, like not even thinking about leaving school while I was rapping. So like, and a lot of people knew me because I played basketball. So it was really odd. Like people would see you in the hallway, they'll yell one of your lyrics at you, and you don't even know how to react because you're not used to that. So like, people just coming up to you. Like I've had teachers playing my song when I walked in the room. It's kind of awkward because me personally, I'm more of an introvert, so I'm like,
Right.
I'm always respectful and I appreciate the love, but sometimes it can just be weird. But I always appreciate the love.
Okay, so you got a local hit. You're getting love in the school.
Mhm.
I'm sure there was some hate because I played basketball and I got hate from playing ball. So I can only imagine being a rapper. What was the hate like?
To be honest with you, because I know we got a full interview to do, the hate has not kicked in yet. Everything is brand new.
So it's all love right now. Second
Yeah,
song out,
trust
going
me,
viral in the community. It's all love.
it's all love, but the hate's coming.
Okay, so walk me through the process. I'm gonna let you tell your own story. You put out Let's Do It. You do 10,000 first week. Where do you go from there?
So after I do Let's Do It, the common theme of this story, which I hope somebody might take after with me, and then maybe if it works for them, that could be a plan, is I did everything earlier than you would expect. Like a lot of people try to wait for things to kind of plan out. After I did Let's Do It and seen the success, I went straight to the administration at my school and asked them if I could perform my song at the homecoming dance, which was coming up in 2 months.
Mm. So you took the initiative. You went to them and asked them if you could perform at homecoming.
Yes.
Okay,
And
and then how'd that go? Or first of all, slow it down because for all the younger artists out here, I feel like this is important to listen to. How'd you even go about getting that meeting, and who'd you meet with in the school to make that happen?
So, like I said, everything we did was strategic. I think that's one of the best things about our camp. So, while I was in high school, it was something that became later criticized about, but we made sure we had clean versions to every song we did, or just made the song clean. Because a lot of rappers have come through different schools asking if they could perform, but if you got 186 curse words in a high school, that's not going to work.
Hmm.
So when I went to them, I was liked by the administration. I didn't really get in trouble in the school because I was just out of the way. They were immediately, ready to say no because they're like, okay, just send us the song. But they thought that's how we're going to veto it because it's going to have too much cursing. So I remember he called me back in the next day because I just went straight to the office and I proposed it. He asked
Hmm.
me if I could put the proposal in writing so he could put it in across the board. I've always been good with typing stuff out in writing. So when he listened to the song, he was like, "Yo, man, you only have one curse word in the song, and it was damn." He was
Hmm.
The board was shocked that like you have a song that's clean, it's good, and they're willing to give you not the homecoming dance because it'd be disruptive, but the pep rally the day before. And he said the pep rally, everyone in the entire school is there. Homecoming's optional. The pep rally, everybody's there because it's during school. So yeah, I said they offered me the pep rally.
Okay,
Mhm.
so keep going. They offer you the pep rally. Then what?
So of course I accept, and immediately, like as soon as I walked out the assistant principal's office, I went on Twitter and I was like, I got the pep rally performing on this date. I forget what the date was. So that builds anticipation because remember I said we're on the one song a week pace.
Hmm.
So like I'm getting like 100 retweets on that back when Twitter was actually a fun place to be. I'm getting 100.
And at this time, when they booked you for the pep rally, you have two songs so far: "Make It Clap" remix and "Let's Do It."
Yes.
Okay.
So I go home with the exciting news. So, we kind of have like a team meeting and we sit down like, yo, we should probably do a song that has to do with school spirit for the school because we're getting a pep rally. There's no bigger way to get the pep rally jumping than, to get a song for this, for the school going. Even though they had
Hmm.
approved a different one, they're like, we got time. It's about 3 weeks out before the pep rally. So I'm upstairs. I have to give all the credit to the producers on this song because I was not involved in the executive production, just the writing. I'm
Hmm.
upstairs and I'm hearing like all different kind of guitar sounds and stuff. So I go downstairs like, what the hell are y'all doing down here? Like trying to make I don't know.
And shout out the production team. Who are they? Jay Strong.
Stay strong, my pop, G Man, Ant Mckie. I mean, the production team was there, but I was confused when I came. I was just eating dinner. I'm hearing guitars. I'm thinking somebody recording a whole different kind of song down there. So my dad, or our dad, he's one of those people that
Yeah.
you might not understand him in the beginning, but you'll come around. In the beginning, you'll be very lost sometimes. So he just tell you sit there, wait on it. because he has, different ways of doing things. So they're sitting there playing me all these guitar sounds, and they're playing me the song "Party Like a Rock Star." So I'm like, yo, that song was the shit. I'm like, but what are you trying to do with that? He was like, yo, you gotta do like a song like this, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I went to a predominantly white high school. He's like, the guitar mixed with the hip hop, that always worked. Whether it was Run DMC and Airs, the guitar and hip hop has always worked.
Right.
So I'm sitting here like, yo, like I just started rapping like 3 months ago. I don't know what you mean by guitar, hip hop. I don't know. Just make the beat and I'll start rapping. So the beat gets done and it's laced. I mean, it's got all kinds of guitar sounds. It's upbeat, and they just kind of like give me the vision, like, yo, do us like a party song, like your average weekend party. And at the time, believe it or not, because people like, you're 21 now. I'm out my prime now. My prime partying was my sophomore and junior year in high school.
That's a
So
damn shame.
it is. But, so they're like, just take me through a party. So, I'm just going through my lyrics, and I'm literally taking you through a party in Solitude with my lyrics. So he was like, so once we get done recording, he's like, what do you want to name this song? So I was like, they already got Party Like a Rock Star, Party Up in Solitude. So we just all sat on it for a second, because it was a real risky song, because, most people hear this podcast is not going to even have heard of Solitude.
I remember you sent me the song. I'm up in Bloomsbury playing basketball at the time. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, don't nobody want to hear no damn party up inside. I wasn't a believer of the song either.
Yeah, so a lot of people was like, yo, you like everyone in the room was like, yo, the song's hot, but like, how are we going to convince people what a Solitude is? And I remember, because our dad is always the person who wanted to be the first on something to have the hope. He was like, people didn't know what Compton was before Dre giving you all these back. So I'm like, all right, man. So we released that, but I was super nervous about that. So I'm like, yo, even people from Souderton don't even like repping Souderton. I'm like, this is crazy. And keep in mind, like, we just transferred to the school not too many years ago. I'm like, this is not even my home territory. So I'm like, all right, cool. We released the song, and I have to say that's probably the only song where I've never had a negative review from somebody in the school. I mean, the school got behind it. They loved it. I mean, there was probably 66 shout outs in that song from people who were just in the area, because I was still rapping local back then, giving people from the school shout outs. And it was like, yo, that's what literally, no pun intended, made like me a rock star in that school, because it's like, yo, you turn like a school that's known for being boring and corny into like something that other schools are like, yo, what's Souderton? Like, this is lit. So that was a real good turnout on that song.
What were the numbers like on Party in Souderton?
Numbers did not match Let's Do It, because I think Let's Do It was a better song, sonically and lyrically. But I think Party in Solitude edged around 5,000 to 6,000 in a week. But like, to keep up that pace or near there, I was happy with it.
Okay, so you release Party in Souderton. You're getting crazy love from the Souderton area, Souderton High School.
Yeah.
And you made the song really in mind for the pep rally. So the pep rally comes.
So the pep rally comes. So everybody knows, homecoming weekend, you have the pep rally, the homecoming dance, and you do whatever after parties you want to do in high school or whatever. So pep rally day happens. So I kind of want to, me as being a media person, like I'm actually a social media major in college, I just know how to take over a moment. Like, when you have the light on you, use it for as much time as possible, because the light will go on somebody else eventually. So I wanted to take over that whole weekend. I did the wing bowl. I did everything I could possibly do in that pep rally weekend to get attention to the song and like just, the spotlight going. So, I mean, keep in mind, I told you the first show that I did was 55 people at,
Right.
venue.
In a gym, the Fellowship House in Conshohocken.
It's a gym. Now they bring me down there. They got the spotlight on. They got the lights on. I walk into the pep rally. Souderton has 3,000 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, we just went from 55. Like, there's professional rappers who can't sell out 3,000.
Right.
I'm like, it's not like I sold it out because I didn't sell tickets. But I'm like, God, like, this is a lot of people. You put 3,000 people in any kind of area, the nerves are going to hit.
Right.
All right. So basically, I do the first line and they going crazy. They didn't expect me to perform. So, it's hard because in the pep rally, you have the freshman section, the sophomore section, the junior section, and the senior section. So like I said, I'm still a junior. So I couldn't really work all four sides of the crowd by myself. So the sides that were the loudest were the sophomores and the juniors, because the people close to the age and they know you the most, they're gonna show you love. So I worked the hell out of those sides and said, fuck the freshman sides, because they just got to the school. They don't know me anyway. and the seniors are gonna be too cool for school anyway. So we had those two sides going crazy. So we do the pep rally, and then I knew I was able to perform well because by the end of the song, the senior section stood up and gave a standing O. The freshmen got into it. I got a lot of good feedback. So it actually turned out to be a good performance.
Let's get into the good shit, man, because for people listening, like this is all great, and I hope if you're a young rapper or it doesn't matter how old you are, or if you're just starting, you picked up on a lot of game. Because my little brother B did a lot of shit that is like people. You got to think outside the box, especially when you're an independent new artist. Like nobody's just gonna come and hand you anything. You got to think outside of the box. So I hope you guys picked up that.
You gotta stop sitting in that little box of a rapper. Like everyone's like, well, I just rap. I'm a rapper. You got to do some non-rapper things to make some moves.
That's a fact. But let's get into the good shit, man, because everything wasn't all peaches and cream, and we 35 minutes in, and it seems like, oh, I did this and that blew up, and then I did this and then that blew up, and then I did the homecoming, and then I did so. Like, when did it start? When did it start getting a little tricky?
Okay, cool. So what I did was, which I think was one of my biggest regrets in music, even though I continue to do it to this day, I gotta fix that. But I think we're gonna be good on that. I took a break after the first four songs. So that period took us to about early October. The Make It Clap show was in August.
Okay,
We're in early October now.
okay,
From October to December, we stayed quiet. Like we didn't say nothing. I was just enjoying school,
hmm
because you get a lot of at the time a lot of love comes with it. So I stayed quiet. So basically, when things got a little chippy, was that it's like I said, everything in this story has to do with starting early. I was starting to look for other artists who I could put on when I was taking a break. So, like, say I do this
right.
the fall, I could put you on during the winter, and then I kill the summer. Like things like that. So I was in the process of doing that. I found some other artists, and then we put out some songs together. Those songs will be out there. That artist is Shane Z. Shout out to him. Everything was all good. The number one problem that we made was the next independent show we did was not until December. Remember, we did it one in August before we were popping. We were popping in September, October, and then we didn't get a next show until December. That was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made.
And that was the one I showed up to. I wasn't at the first one. This was the first show I saw of you.
Yeah, this is when Ant Mckie, the manager, comes into play and all the nut shit starts happening. That's another
Oh, that shit started happening when I came into the picture.
everything was peaches and cream until this nigga showed up. So, what wound up happening was, I believe, even though it doesn't make no sense, when I explain this, a lot of people are like it's not going to make sense, but I'm telling the truth and the only side of the story I know. Out of nowhere, the three original people who made the first song to Make It Clap all started kind of connecting again. Like, they graduated high school. I'm in high school doing my thing, but one was very supportive, coming to the shows, trying to help and stuff like that. And then the other one, was out of the way, but they just started coming back around. I've just been hearing whisperings like, yo, this dude's like trying to do his own thing. He said he don't mess with you no more. Cause I'm reaching out to him like, yo, you might as well perform at my next show. Cause I think everything's cool. I think, we just took some time off, stuff like that.
Right.
So while I'm hitting them up, I'm sending them song links. And you can listen, people, you can tell energy. If you hit somebody up with a song link and your song is hot, don't be cocky, but if you know your song's hot, they hit you up to keep working, youngin', you'll be all right. But then when they hit you back, you give them all this in-depth detail, like this is fire. They don't even say thank you back, like they just want the view. You can tell the energy changes with some people, and I was very naive at that point because I was 16, so I wasn't really thinking about 19, 20-year-old hating at no point like that. So the person who the original Make It Clap song was, their song, I'm just scrolling through Twitter one day, people showing love to the song, and I saw a tweet that quote said, it wasn't him who tweeted it. Somebody else tweeted it and he retweeted it because I followed him. Said, if y'all knew who this artist was, y'all wouldn't be messing with B. McKee. His music's whack. So he retweeted it and then quoted it with 100 emojis. So in my opinion, let's say Anthony's a rapper with me and me and Anthony are down and we're cool with each other. If somebody said that to me, bare minimum, I'm saying, nah, man, Ant hot too. You can like two artists at the same time. That's the bare minimum I'm saying. I
Right.
might say F out of here. Nah, we ain't doing that. You ain't gonna break it up. But I felt like he was trying, and then I forgot with the 100. He posted his song link with the 100 emojis, like he was trying to get a promotion off this person hating.
Right.
So I looked at that sideways. So I remember I'm getting through this. I called you, and I was
Right.
how do you? No, I didn't call. I tagged you, and I just sent you the eye
Yeah.
emoji. You called me. I was like, "How you feel about that?" He's like, "Yo, that seemed like some hate. Like, what's up with him? He posting a song. He's like, "What? I thought y'all was cool." And I was like, "I thought we was cool too. I haven't seen this person since the original Make It Clap, which is all the way back in August. I haven't seen this person. I haven't heard from them. Their phone has been off. I haven't heard nothing." So I go to the feature because they're a little bit closer to each other. I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" He was like, "I've been trying to, stay low about it, but he not really messing with you right now." I was like, "For what? What did I like? Did I do something to him?" I'm trying to figure out the whole situation. So I just, hit him back with, this is how social media and you got to play it better as a rapper and as an artist goes into. So I'm just treating it like I'm a normal person. So I hit him with some eye emojis, like, "What you mean by that?" And he hits me back with the "stay in your lane." So I feel like that's strike two, like the subliminal "stay in your lane." So I'm confused. Like when you really think somebody's your man, you don't really think of them like they doing some nut shit. So I'm like, what? What you mean stay in your lane? And I see all these other artists from the neighboring school retweeting it. So I'm like, what? He done teamed up with like niggas from the other school and like they got their own little thing going. I'm seeing them tweet subliminal stuff, and I'm like, keep in mind our mission on the first project was like, yo, the music's fun. We got lyrical, clean, fun music. Like we're living this out. So we're not in the streets right now. Like everything's cool. It's fun. We having a good time. We had all the girls at our events. We had the parties. I wasn't worried about all that shoot 'em up shit that niggas wasn't really doing in Southern. So they on Twitter like, yeah, we really trapping. We sold this. Y'all not about the gunplay, blah blah blah. So I'm like, up confused because like if we all live in Souderton, I don't think a single person has been murdered in Souderton in the last 25 years. So
Right.
I'm like, yo, like, what is y'all talking about? And like, I know people, and I've been around people who really come from that. So like, when you doing that on Twitter, I don't take you seriously. Especially like I went to school
Mhm.
with you too. Like I know the type of person you are. So I'm like, yo, what? So I was like, yo, it's funny when these like trap rappers, really get to believe in their persona. So we going back at each other, throwing subliminals. I'm in Walmart. Like, yo, they talking about we'll come to your house. We gonna beat you up. So like me knowing what I know now, I just immediately got off the socials and made a direct phone call. Like, what are you trying to do? We're not gonna embarrass each other on the socials and do all that corny stuff because it really waters down the product. You don't want to do that as an artist. I would have just made a direct phone call. What are y'all trying to get into? Yes or no? We move from there. So I call you to get the news, and you know this story. And when you answer the
Mhm.
phone, you talking about I just got into a car crash. So, any family situation, because we blood brother, any family, somebody get in a car accident, you go handle that. You're not worried about no rat beef, no SoundCloud. You're not worried about none of that. You going to handle that. So we in the hospital making sure you okay, checking up on all that stuff. You in there with the neck brace on, looking half dead. so, so I'm like, all right, cool. Like my phone not even on. So I go back on Twitter and my phone has like 148 mentions. So I'm like, God damn, like them niggas been talking to themselves the whole day. And he was like, yo, he just dropped a diss track, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, this gotta be the fastest goddamn drill. I'm like, we don't even own no studio. Like, like, fuck, he went to the record store. He went to the studio like 5 minutes after we was tweeting. Like, yeah, he dropped a diss track, blah, 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 all this shit. So I'm like, yo, people going crazy. Like, I just got hit with some hit 'em up or some ether or some takeover. So I'm like, oh, he might have said some disrespect. So I'm over here. You was with me at the time because we were in the hospital. I'm over here like, damn, what could it be? So we driving you back home. So we like, all right, pop it in the aux core. Let's see what he's talking about. I'll let you give your review on the diss track.
That joint was ass.
Yeah, it was bubble. I didn't hear no disrespect, no name, wasn't no hit 'em up, wasn't no ether, wasn't no 50 Cent, wasn't none of that. So I kind of calmed down a little bit, but I'm like, yo, these niggas dropping diss tracks, and I feel like I took the situation. I can, for because this is to educate artists and give them some game. I feel like I took the situation too personal because we went to school together and we were friends. Like I promoted your song harder than you. I tried to put you on the show. You've been in my mom's house. We making sure you right, making sure we got the shirts, and you don't even show up to the venue. So it was kind of like a lot of built up, anger because you were asking me why did I do all that stuff. In the moment, I didn't notice, but then I'm like, yo, like he really didn't do nothing to contribute besides talk on a microphone. And at this point,
Yeah.
like my skill level is high enough where I can say I'm better than you at this. Like I worked all this on my own. Like you didn't help me to do nothing. You didn't show me how to do nothing. That was other people on the team who helped me. So at this point, I felt the confidence to say I'm better than you. So everybody in our camp was saying, don't respond, taking the Diddy route, don't say nothing. But me and you was like, fuck all that. We gotta.
We with the smoke.
Yeah. So think about it. Listen to the names of my songs. Make It Clap, obviously a party record. We're not talking about Make It Clap with the guns. uh, was performed at a pep rally. Party in Souderton, obviously another party record, and the Come Up. So this is the discography they have from me right there. They're not expecting no diss record. Most people who listen to my early 2015 catalog, which I will tell you where to find that once this is over, would not expect that. I grew up listening to 50, Jada Kiss, Beanie, DMX, Jay. Like most people get in my car, like, yo, like why you always got this old Ice Cube? Like people don't know I really grew up listening to that, but I'm like, am I really going, be on some straight out of Compton when we straight out, like we not doing all that right now. So it was just been a weird feeling for me. I don't understand how people like these artists could like really live in the best of the suburbs and really just be trying to rap about killing people. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I,
Mhm.
I was more in it, trying to make some money. And then, this is for the girls. Like nobody want to be dirty and doing all that stuff. So
Right.
we drop a diss track. We looking for beats. Meek Mill, the song "Pray For Him" just came out. We took the instrumental right off YouTube. We hit him with some ether. I mean, a lot of disrespect. Names was said because, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm a cool dude. I'm an introvert. I don't start problems. But like I know you. We're not backing down from nobody at all. We're not gonna go out here starting
Mm-mm.
problems with people. But our family, we're not the back down family. We're not just gonna let you talk crazy and just get off what you got to get off and then just leave it alone. So when we dropped the diss track, it was an overwhelming response that we killed them with the diss track, man. They was getting clowned. I honestly heard stories like my friends who worked at Giant, like yo, they came up in the store and people was laughing at them in the store like you got killed. Like you just trying to get some groceries, like yo, they smoked you. Like so like there was a lot of anger. And then this is when I realized a lot of people when they can't beat you at the game, they think they can beat you and they try to beat you in another game. So like they was on some, well, fuck all this rap shit. Keep in mind, they're the rappers. To date, I've only been rapping for about 6 to 7 months. They are the rapper. They've been rapping their whole lives. They're the people now. They on some fuck rap. We really in the streets. Let's fight. So
They can't beat us in that either.
I'm like, listen, okay, what they saying like Mike for all my like Mike people, Calvin Cambridge ain't backing down for no challenge. Like I'm not scared of y'all. Keep in mind, like it's not like y'all know big Brock Lesnar MMA fighters. Even if y'all were, I don't care. So I'm like, so I don't think they expected such a quick response. Like, okay, like let's do that. Like I said, I've been around and always been around people who really willing to go there, and I'm always the youngest out of all of them, so they always gonna jump in to protect, the youngest. So like they getting responses from people they didn't even know because they didn't go to the school. Like, yo, like what's up? We can get it going. Like we were strong. The team was strong at the time, and I think they were very taken back by the situation. They wanted up withdrawing all their disrespect. At least their all the I'ma shoot you, all the I'ma beat you up, all that went away. I've never been shot. None of them things ever did none of that. Like I was like, oh okay, because they was talking like we're gonna come together, we're gonna kill you. Like all that stuff went out the window. They retreated. They went back to their homes. And the person who actually released the diss track, I've never spoke to them since. I actually saw them recently about 2 weeks ago, and I smiled. I thought it was all over. He looked pretty angry, but I don't really care about that no more. I was 16 years old, so that was the start of the hate. I don't know if you want to direct it or you want me to just keep going straight through the story, but that was the start of the hate.
Keep going.
Okay, cool. I'll take this straight through. So once the hate seed, I say the hate seed. Once the hate seed is planted, a lot of motherfucking hate trees grow. So they take all their people and all their young bulls and is like, yo, this is not a quote, but I'm assuming this is how it happened. If you mess with me, you can't mess with him. We gotta divide the sea. Like you down with me because he's been in the community longer. Now I transferred to that school when I was when I was 15 and I started rapping at 15. they've been in that school all throughout elementary school, so they have like diehard friends and diehard people. Like, oh yeah, like a lot of people at school were like, yeah, I'm cool with you, but I've known so and so longer, blah blah blah. So I was getting a lot of that, and they were kind of trying to take some of my fans that they knew away, or some of the people who was supporting me because they thought we were still cool. They tried to start taking those away. So at that point, during the divide, for all the new artists, you can't play that game. You have to cater to your fans. I was catering to the haters, and I spent a lot of time catering to them, and I wound up losing a lot of fans in that process because I wasn't releasing no music. I was just going right at them. Like I'm on social media every day attacking them, and my fans are like, "Yo, like you addressing the haters, but like, can we get a new song? Like, can we get something?" Yeah, like, and a lot of mainstream artists get accused of doing that. And if you follow me on any social media, I'll be getting on the artist by not dropping the song. But that was me at that point. They're like, all right, so we couldn't get a song or nothing like that. So I'm like, damn. So like, I kind of went cold. So it was like, damn, like, yo, I spent all this energy. I don't know where to go. Like, we completely stopped working on the second project and gave all these people all your energy. So I wanted to completely reverse the energy. Like, we was on some, party rappers, party rappers, gangsta lifestyle like shit. People DMing me, yo, you and so good. Like, I heard y'all got real life beef. Some real life stuff happened, but we're gonna keep that off. All that.
Yeah, don't mention that.
Yeah. So I'm good. Ain't nothing ever happened to me from that scenario. I don't think nothing happened to nobody from our team from that scenario. So it is what it is. So we wound up doing other songs trying to heat back up because I wanted to start getting heat so we can do a hot show, like so we can do a show in April or May. So what I wound up doing is the same thing I did for the first show. Is I gathered a lot of artists who were currently hot and had music, and asked them to perform again. So we had artists, the artist I mentioned before, Shane Z, who I wound up doing 3 songs with during that time that did pretty well. And like I said, I'm gonna give you the names of the songs. We had Plus One, Party and Bullshit remix, which was a flip off the Biggie beat, and then One Night. So we did those songs. They were pretty hot. I got some other artists from the Montgomery County area, and we did a show on April 30th. Keep in mind, we started that song with the singer in January to start off the year. It's still not done.
And it's April, and the songs that I would have chalked that.
Yeah, so I'm getting frustrated, but Dad, he liked the R&B, and he's really, pushing for it. So now we can get into the story about the stupid thing we did for the April 30th show. So we have the artist. So like I said, once again, shout out to Shane Z. He's hot right now. Like,
and this is our 3rd time doing this, so we like kind of perfected the method of getting all the hottest artists from the surrounding towns, putting them on the bill so you can sell out the show and then promoting your music there.
And honestly, I think this might have been the best batch of art. I think the second best batch of artists we had at a show. And we reused a lot of artists from that show. So we got different groups from different areas. We got Shane Z. We even got my man, Xavier, who's doing songs now. Like, we're putting on artists. We're sharing the platform. I always said it's important. Don't hog the platform because the spotlight can never be on you all the time. And if it is, you're gonna crumble. You see a lot of artists crumble because the spotlight's on them all the time, and humans ain't built for that. So keep in mind, I don't have a song really out since like the December time period. But like these other hot artists, I'm letting them open up, and I'm going to go with the main hits. So a lot of mistakes made at this show. A lot of mistakes. Number 1, I'm going to take full responsibility, even though I could throw someone under the bus.
Who's someone?
It's another artist. So I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
Oh.
We were posting the flyers for a long time because I promote heavy. Like, we'll promote 2 months outside of the event. The day of, keep in mind, the address was right on every flyer besides the batch of flyers we sent the day of, which is the only ones that people actually look at. So the day of, we send out a batch of like 300 flyers to people who said they were down to go and still didn't get their tickets or whatever. Because, you got your people who support, they're going to buy early and they know where to go and they've been there before. But keep in mind, we have a whole batch of new artists. So we're sending them flyers and know where they're going because their fans have never been to this venue before. My fans have been there before. They know where it is. We send out the wrong address on this flyer.
Jesus.
We send out the wrong address. We send out an address that is an hour and 30 minutes away from the address we are at.
Oh my God.
So like we're expecting our biggest turnout. Yeah, we're expecting over 300 people at this one. Like, yo, we about to get it rocking. Keep in mind, this is independently. you know, 300 times 20, you do the math. A lot of people's show prices isn't even that. The venues only cost 150 an hour. And
Right.
we got Ant Mckie doing security and selling waters in the back. We got a lot. So like we get to the show. So I'm like, yo, I know people be showing up late, but like, damn, like, and then we have a connection with the venue, so like they'll give us extra hours if needed. So we like, yo, like, it should definitely be more people here. Like, it's mainly my fans, some of his fans, and some other people, but it's like 50, 60 people, and we expecting 300 this time. So I'm looking, I'm going. I'm seeing like, yo, people hitting me up, like, yo, I'm on my way. And I looked at it, I was like, yo, we typed in the wrong fucking number on the address. There's another 125 so and so in a whole nother city, and we just sent them there because of the fucking area code or the zip code. So our man was like, "Yo, how many people we send that out to?" He's like, "Yo, 300." So people is hitting my phone, snapping on me. Like, what the hell? I'm in media, PA. What is going on? I'm in the back. Like they said, it was like a cul-de-sac in the middle of the sticks, like somewhere you ain't want to be. I was like, "Yo, dog, I'm in 125 this side." Like, yo, because I think we did the east instead of west. So it was something. It was something dumb.
Yeah, something weird.
I'm like, oh man. So like, yo, I'm not driving all the way back down there and then go all the way home after that. So half the people decided to come late. Half the people was like, yo, that drink chalk. I want my money back. I'm like, oh man. So I'm sitting there like, yo, this is crazy. Like, we can't go out like this. So I think we wound up having the same amount as the first show, which was bad because we're supposed to be improving, but we sent out the wrong address. But keep in mind, this show did not go its full length. So while we're figuring
Tell them why. Tell the people why.
yeah, while we're figuring out, the problem with make sure my volume's still good.
You gotta stop moving around, bro.
Yeah, I have to. I gotta, charge this.
Uh,
Let me just. Can you still hear me?
yeah.
Okay, so while we're making sure, the fans are good, knowing where they need to go, we have opening artists performing because me and the artist Shane Z were the two closing artists because we had the biggest fan bases at the time. The opening act, we told them they can run 3 songs, get your 3 songs off, blah, blah, blah. But since there's so much chaos going on, we're not really controlling how many songs they do. And they wind up running their whole album through, and the crowd who's there is like, yo, like, we don't want to hear all that. You're not Jay-Z, like, the whole album. So they looking at me.
Right.
So I come back around, and they like, yo, who's next? Like, these niggas been on the stage for an hour and a half.
They definitely performed like 15 songs while we was in the parking lot trying to organize shit.
I'm like, I didn't even know y'all had this many songs. So I'm like, hey, yo. So now they giving me an attitude. I'm telling them, like, yo, get the fuck off the stage. Like, I told y'all had 3 songs. We could have mixed some, like, mainstream artists like Future in there, get the crowd off edge. So Shane Z's finally ready to perform. We're going to get all the people we pushed the event back a little bit. We're getting all the people there who are actually going to show up. And so we cut off the lights. He performs. He absolutely, you can attest to this, kills his set. I mean,
he shut that shit down.
I was impressed. Like, and me, we're not impressed people. Like, things happen. Like, that was probably one of the best performances I've seen, as far as me bringing out another artist. I think it was the best performance as far as me bringing out another artist. So I'm sitting here like, damn, he just killed that shit. So I'm like, all right, it's time for me to perform. So this is one of the things you told me, everybody's told me, but I had to learn as I got older. That as a rapper, you can't be running the water stand security, collecting money, doing all that extra stuff.
No, you just gotta rap. You already, like, everybody already had their job. Your job is to go up on stage and rap. You was worried about everything but rapping. I'm like, bro, we got this taken care of. Just rap.
I was in panic mode because I sent out the wrong address. I was trying to make up for it. So with me doing all that stuff that I was doing, I didn't realize I had already lost my voice before I performed the first song. So I'm over here like, damn, I'm down in like 6 water bottles. Like, I gotta get this shit back. But I don't really have a voice. So I remember this like it was yesterday. The first song I think we did it in order. The first song I did was Make It Clap. Crowds going crazy. Because like that's to this day, if you're from the community, that's the song you know me for, Make It Clap. And then we get into Let's Do It. And there's been 2 girls who have been arguing, I guess, the entire length of the party. I don't know why they're next to
And I saw this the whole time, and I was trying to let you know.
But like I said, let me just be the rapper. So I'm like, I don't know, Actually, I did Let's Do It first. That's correct me. I'm wrong. I did Let's Do It first. And then Make It Clap, I have a ritual because it's a twerk song. It's lit to bring girls on stage while I performed the song. So I didn't know these two girls had a beef or whatever. So, I invite all the girls on stage and I'm performing it, and I just see this husky, heavy handed punch thrown right by my face. I'm like, I know, like, somebody not trying to punch me while I'm on stage. The punch whizzes right by me and hits this girl dead in her eye, and they start fighting. So now we just sent out the wrong address. The firehouse already extended the time. They fighting now. Show's over. So, I mean, I only got 1.5 songs off. I wound up having to return a lot of money that I made. And the worst feeling is having, like, at 16, having like $3,000 in your hand and knowing all that shit's about to go bad because niggas didn't even get the full. So, and I'm not the type boy to just disappear with somebody's money. So I'm like, yo, at a certain point, at this point, I'm getting really frustrated. And like as an artist, I know you're gonna laugh because I don't even know if you believe in all this stuff, but like you got to check your mental health as an artist because I'm like, yo, I just had a falling out with some people I was really down with from the beginning. We just had a failed show. I don't got no music going right now. Like when you think it's over, you really like think it's over. You like, oh man, like
Right. No, I can understand that.
yeah. So I'm like, yo, like I was thinking about like, yo, I'm about to retry out for the basketball team. This rap shit ain't work out.
Nah, that shit done. You asked. Your basketball career was over.
Like, yo, this is like really over with. Like, and you like, here's the thing. Fans are exactly what that word means. Like when you hot, they behind you, but like when you down, they're not gonna be DMing you. Like, yo, I have very rare fans, like about maybe 10 to 15 who DM me like, yo, like, are you all right, man? Like just on a human level, like, you good? You ain't been dropping nothing lately. Like everything all right? Most people like, yeah, nothing ain't drop. All right, on to the next person who rap. Like it's not like nobody gonna check on you, so you gotta make sure you checking in on yourself. So
Yeah, that's fact.
at this point, I'm in like I'm in a slump. We're going into the summer and we ain't had a record in 6 months. Like we looking like a EP flop, not even a one album flop, a EP flop. You took over the role as manager as our dad was a manager before.
Mm-hmm.
So with you taking over the role and me getting older, like I said, we had a lot of clean music because we still wanted to perform in the school and all that stuff. But as a senior, I wanted to gear my music more towards the college audience and get ahead of that. And you agree with that plan. And I think some of the people from the team before were still kind of stuck in high school, like I was going to be there for another 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 17. Like pretty soon I'm gonna be 18. Like you think about 17-year-old rappers now. Like NBA YoungBoy was 17 last year. I think he still is 17. Like Kodak Black isn't even 21. Like these rappers, like you gotta get your adult crowd going now. So that's where we wanted to head. There was a lot of stagnant times where we were just arguing about a plan and stuff like that. Nothing was going on. So I went to Jumbo Sound Studio, and if anybody knows me and is a fan of my music, you have to know the next one that's coming next. And I recorded a song called Mike Beeler. So I go to the studio. I have a 2 p.m. session on a Sunday.
That's
Probably one of
trash.
the trash slot. I can't even get primetime slots. People talking about you don't even get in the studio no more. You lost your slots. So I go in there, and I always remember when I did Party in Souderton, I gave all my friends from my school a shout out. And I got a homeboy from Souderton who played basketball. I played with him when we played. His name is Mike Beeler. He was like, yo, you never gave me a shout out on a song. Like, that's corny, dog. Like, you gave everybody a shout out. We supposed to be cool. So I'm like, all right, cool. I remember I texted him before I went in the studio. So I got something better than a shout out for you. So I go to Jumbo Studios and I record Mike Beeler. I'm in the studio. I can spend a million shit. So I'm doing it. I'm not really that into it. Like my confidence isn't there. It's my first time being in the studio in months. Like I feel like I'm off. I get in the car because Jumbo have it right for you. I get in the car. I can listen to it right then. I'm like, this ain't hot, man. Like I'm like, yo, I might have lost it, man. I come home, head down, like this is over with. Y'all in the crib like, yo, let me hear that. So I don't think you heard it yet. I played it for Dad. And I remember he explained to me that he never heard the full song until maybe 6 months after I released the song. So I just keep listening to the song and it just gets catchier and catchier and catchier and catchier. And keep in mind, I was like, I'm going to release this now because it's during basketball season. He was a little rock star with the basketball stuff. I was doing it with the music. And I remember you kept telling me, like, yo, why would you do a song named Mike Beeler? Nobody outside of this area knows who the hell Mike Beeler is. And I remember you were so frustrated about that.
Yeah, I wanted to kill you.
And I was like, yo, that's the point. Me being a mark, I said, that's the point. Everybody just gonna keep asking who is Mike Beeler, and that's gonna draw more attention to the song. I'm like, you know who Kyrie Irving is. You do a Kyrie Irving song, they listen to it, all right, cool, Kyrie Irving song. And so people are like, yo, who the hell is Mike Beeler? I can literally look up on Twitter, put in quotation marks, who is Mike Beeler or Mike Beeler. A lot of people are like, yo, who the hell is Mike Beeler? They were trying to figure it out. So I do the song and I release a snippet on Twitter. And people was like, hey, yo, like a lot of his basketball people was like, yo, Mike got a song about him? Like, that's crazy. And all the hoopers were coming to me like, yo, I'm over him. How come you ain't give me a song? So I'm like, all right. But the song was getting good reviews on the snippet. But I'm not going to lie to you. Mike Beeler to date is probably still my biggest song. What
Yeah,
is?
got 3 million.
But I didn't believe in it when I released it. I believed in that. So I released the song. And it jumps out to a crazy start. Mike Beeler broke all the record. It broke the back and forth record. It broke Let's Do It. Mike Beeler does 25,000 in a week on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
At this point, we're in 2017. SoundCloud is starting to die out. So I know you were giving me encouragement, like, yo, you gotta start. I know, you can't see the views. So everything was about plays back then. How many plays you got? How many plays you got? But SoundCloud's a free app. You're not making any money off. So you're like, yo, we gotta start getting on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify. I'm like, well, they can't see how many plays you got on there. He's like, bro, it's not about the plays. It's about, really getting it going. So keep in mind, Mike Beeler carried me my senior year. Like, cause Mike Beeler I think that was my first song that I think really reached outside of a Montgomery County community. Like people from Philly, Jersey. When I wound up going to senior week in Maryland, people knew what Mike Beeler was. If they didn't even know who I was, they knew what Mike Beeler was.
I remember I was up in school and I called you. I walked into a party, they was playing that shit. I'm like, oh, you got one.
Yeah, like I remember senior night, girls was holding signs that said Mike Beeler with the switch. So I'm like, oh, we got one with this one. So I was like, it was a matter of pushing it. So I pushed that song. Remember, I made one song my senior year, and that was Mike Beeler. And I pushed it as hard as I could. It basically capped out around 50,000 on SoundCloud. I started getting my stuff on Apple Music. I had Let's Do It and Mike Beeler, I think, my two strongest songs on Apple Music. So this is when we got our connection with Jumbo. Like, we really started vibing. So me and you was like, yo, we need some joints for the summer. Keep in mind, I'm telling you all the song names, you're going to be able to look them back up at the end. So we come in the summer, like, yo, we need to give him a little EP. You've been dropping singles here and there. Mike Beeler's killing them, but we need more. So we put Mike Beeler on the EP. We got a song called What You Doing, the ultimate twerk song for the summer. Then we got Westbrook Theory, some other songs. And the EP goes nuts first week, but none of the songs stuck besides Mike Beeler. And that was a frustrating point for me. I'm like, I didn't understand the game. Like, when you really have a single that's going, you have to give it its shelf life because every other song you drop is not going to get the just due because that song is still hot right now. I dropped a lot of songs after Mike Beeler that I think would have got a lot more heat if Mike Beeler still wasn't rolling. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Mike Beeler shadowed, I think, some of your best music.
Yeah, because I'm like, at the time, because I think when you look at my catalog, and I know you're going to laugh at the word catalog, but I do have over about 30 songs in the game now. When you look at my catalog, there's pre-college and college. Mike Beeler was the biggest thing and most polished thing pre-college. Because there's still things you're like, okay, he has the flow, he has this, but he still has to correct some of his technique. He can still get better at his wordplay, his lyricism. So we ride that out. So Mike Beeler is going strong. Like, I even go to college. I went to Kutztown University, and people hitting me up. It's funny because Mike Beeler, his college, wound up scrimmaging my college. You got people walking up to him before the game. This is how I knew the song was real. People walking up to him, oh, you Mike Beeler, they making songs about you. You ain't going to score tonight. So I'm like, people who don't even know him, they playing the song while he playing. So I'm like, I felt bad for him because they was attacking him for it. But I'm like, yo, that's how you know the song's going. You got random people who've never met this man a day in his life trying to go at him because he got a song. So with that, we really had to really sit down and focus on the plan in college because, it's grown now. Mike Beeler, I would say, is the last song that has minimal cursing in it that we did. Everything else, like, we're going to a higher audience. And everybody knows that's been my personality since I was 15. It was just strategic for high school not to have no cursing in the music. So we jumped right out the gate, freshman year at Kutztown. We hit him with Big Amount. That's the hit that you were in the studio for.
Okay.
Yeah. So he felt like Diddy. He was in the studio like, yo, we need some more snare. We need some bass, add some ad lib. So Big Amount, I felt like was our quotable. So like every song had a purpose. Let's do it. Make it clap was the original. Let's do it made people take us seriously. Mike Beeler was the hit. Big Amount was the quotable. Like, with that song, when you listen to it, it's not as lyrical as Mike Beeler, but Big Amount, you really got a quotable. And then we jump right at Big Amount with our first music video. So now we're ahead of the game. Keep in mind, we've always been ahead of our peers. That's why I feel like our team has been the best in the area. We jumped off the SoundCloud bandwagon 2 years before everybody else did. Everybody else rode SoundCloud to the ground. Would you agree?
Yeah, they kind of died with SoundCloud.
Some people are still using SoundCloud in 2020. Other people are shooting videos, but we got a good director first, like the professional director, not just your homeboy with a camera. We got the professional director first.
Right.
And, a lot of people were just behind. No, we started going to professional studios first. So Big Amount, with that song and the video behind it, I want to address something I have a problem with. Big Amount, the music video. The actual song has over 100,000 streams on Apple Music. I don't know how many it has on Spotify. I don't even think it's on Spotify. But the music video did 18,000 in a weekend. But this is where the hate comes back in. There was a lot of groups of people who, because you have in the community, you would say there's support and hate. There's no really in the middle. During the time in our community, it was either you really wasn't fucking with us or you loved us. There was no just people who just didn't really care. Like people was
I would
invested.
agree.
Yeah, people was way too invested into, this person messes with who. So, I mean, there was hundreds of people who were reporting my video. So my video actually wound up getting taken off YouTube after the first weekend where it did 18,000. I thought it could have did good. Me taking it personal, I never posted it back up, which I probably should have. But, these are some of the things you're going to have to go through, like people reporting your videos. If people spam your reports enough, the video's getting taken down. And they're going to have to do an investigation on stuff like that. People trying to boycott, like, yo, we're not listening to this. You got to figure out a way to find new fans. Like, because to be honest with you, at this point, I missed a lot of details. At this point, none of my listeners are from the community where Make It Clap and Let's Do It was. I got out of the silencing community quickly. Because at this point, I felt like the silencing community got turned against me. Even people I was cool with all the time, I wasn't even talking to them no more. So now we in college, we got to find a new market. Like, these are things as an artist, you got to know how to find a market, a target audience, know what your fan base is like, know what you cater to. Like, if you are 25 and you make shoot 'em up music, there's no reason you should be in silence in high school targeting the 15-year-old white girls to listen to your song. Like, check out my link. A lot of people just do things blindly. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, they be doing stuff with no rhyme or reason. There's no plan to it.
Yeah, like somebody be like, yo, I want you to do a feature on this song. I'm like, for what? Like, none of my fans like this kind of music. Everybody has a lane, so Big Amount really, solidified that we were able to change course. 'Cause a lot of people from other communities, like, he just has Tarleton. That's just a big school and a big community. Without them, he's nothing. Mike Beeler and Big Amount proved that wrong, and I was able to get into a more out of the local fan base with that. And with that, it kind of gets to the common problem that I would say, and you would agree with in my music career, is every time we got one, I would stop. Every single time we got one, I
You
would just
still do that shit. I don't understand why.
listen. We about to flood and keep flooding. Just so you know, albums coming real soon. We got a whole plan, and we're just gonna keep going. I'm not gonna keep stopping. So, like, if you look at my years on my discography, it's gonna say 2016. There's a group. 2017 there's a group. 2018 is gonna be real scammy. 2019 is gonna have like barely anything, and then 2020 it comes back. So, go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say you put out your latest album, Made by McKee. That hit the streets pretty hard. If you want to get
Yeah.
into that briefly.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, we took a huge gap, and in college, college life is crazy. So we
No,
put
it's
out
not.
you as a college athlete who didn't do nothing besides dribble a ball until you got hurt. But anywho, um, we put out our debut album. We've done EPs, but we didn't really do an album. There was a lot of things manager was against on the album, but I think the album turned out good. He didn't like the name, but shout out to all the rappers. If you use United Masters, which I will not be using anymore,
That shit is trash.
If you hit submit on an album name or an album cover, you will not be able to change that shit once you go back. I literally put Made by McKee to fill the space to see how it would look, and that just happened to be the album title. So a lot of people was in my comments like, yo, I love the album, but there's no creativity in the name. I was just using that as a filler, and it didn't let me change it. Like, the mess, there's a lot of things they need to correct. You won't be able to change your album art. So don't come at me for that when you go listen to that. But, with that album, I felt like there was a lot of pressure for the first time in a long time because once you start getting, especially locally, because we really haven't accomplished our goals yet. We've made some money. We got out of the state as far as we got fans, in like areas all around. But like at the end of the day, we really want to make this like a, national thing. We want to have it on the spotlight. Like I'm not famous, I might be locally famous, but I'm not famous by any means. And I'm not rich. So we're really trying to push this. And there was a lot of pressure, you know, because once you stay in the same area, like you can't be the top of your area forever. You have to expand. And that was my problem. Because a lot of people from the area was like, yo, why do you keep getting to be king of your area? It's either move out or move down. So I was getting attacked by a lot of local artists in the area, like, yo, you keep claiming you're the king of the county, king of Montgomery County. Like, if you were such the king, you would be out of here by now. But it's a big process trying to break out of that thing. So there's a lot of pressure. But we put a lot of good songs together. We had some of the OG rappers from the community on the songs. We had King County, which was basically declaring us like, listen, even though we haven't reached where we need to be yet, we still run this area. Like, you're not bullying us off that. At the end of the day, that's ours. You're going to hear a lot of Ant Mckie's voice on that song, talking crazy about stuff he can't live up to.
Yeah, right.
So we did 7 songs on that. The reception was very very good. I believe, total streams first week, well, not total streams. We did another thing about United Masters. They aren't specific. So I know how many streams we did, but it says we did 13,000 units first week. Whatever units means, if somebody could break that down and explain that to me, because units could mean like plays, it could mean follows, it could be. I don't think we sold 13,000 copies. I really don't, but
I highly doubt it.
I definitely need a bigger split from United Masters if we sold 13,000. But whatever. So we did 13,000 units first week, and then like March 8th, if you think about the climate, nobody even heard of coronavirus, knew what it was. 3 weeks into promoting the album, the whole world shut down. So kind of put a damper on things. But we're definitely gonna shoot a few music videos from that on the project, and we're just gonna move on with another project. As my brother would say, stop reusing songs, stop doing that, just make more. So that's what we're gonna do. But we definitely gonna put out a video for King County, and then we're gonna keep going. And we're not gonna stop this time. We got to put a lot of pressure on the game because we got goals that's bigger than this county, bigger than the state. So we're gonna have a lot of good features on that. But a lot of progress was made.
So, do you have an idea of when you want to put that next project out?
I want to put that project out very, very early in September, but you will be seeing a lot of you won't see a lot of motion soon, but you'll see a lot of motion in late August. It's gonna be a lot of moving pieces. Like we're not just going cold turkey, coronavirus is over now, drop the album. I think we gotta, remind people. I think it's like sports. You gotta you gotta get your respect sometimes. LeBron, in the bubble, first game, he came out, gave him a bunch of points and remind you he's still the best in the league. So I think we're gonna come out with a lot of freestyles, a lot of videos, just sparring and let people know like what time it is. And I think we really gotta bring the real hip hop feeling back because there's a lot of games. I know social media and marketing is important, but it's becoming more important than the actual art, which we all love.
Respectable, respectable. So, is there anything you want to end off with before we get out of here?
I want to end off with I believe this next album, which I want to save the title for, and the general area when it's coming out early September. I think we're going to set the tone with this one to really go on a run that's never been before seen. I'm not even going to say in the county, in PA. I mean, like, I want to go on like a run.
That's a big claim now. There's a lot of there's a lot of niggas that came out of PA as far as rap.
I'm saying, you about to hear what I'm saying. I want them to go on a run that makes. I don't feel the state's been excited since Meek got signed to Grand Hustle. I don't think the state's been excited since State Prop. I don't think the state's been excited in a while. Like we have a lot of artists. Don't get me wrong. You got like the Chorus, the Leaf Wards. I don't want to miss nobody. So I'm gonna stop naming. But like you got a lot. But I don't think like the city, the state has really been excited for a while. Like,
Okay.
yo, the next one up. So I think really gonna make a push. We're gonna have some real notable features, and like it's gonna be hip hop. It's not gonna be, even though we still make songs and stuff like that, we're known for that. It's not gonna be none of that. If you can't rap, you can't get on the album. It's the first album. We're not doing no friendships. It's nothing personal. If you can't rap, you can't get on the album.
Listen, man, you better keep all the same energy, man. But go ahead and shout out your socials one more time before we get out of here.
I'm Life of B McKee on everything. That's BMCKIE. Life of B McKee on everything. Album coming soon this fall or late summer. We're gonna make a lot of moves. We're gonna shake the ground.
And then what do they type in on the streaming platforms to find your music?
All right, so all you have to do is hit B space MCKIE on Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. I'm going to be re-releasing all my old songs. So as of right now, you'll see the Made by McKee project, Mike Beeler, Big Amount. But some of the songs that we released in 2016, 2017 for the original fans that people have been asking to party inside since Make It Clap, that will be still online for you to see by the time this podcast releases.
All right, Laundromat Podcast signing out.